Greetings, Dr. Joseph Martin here. The topic for today is sea turtles, humans, evolution, and the new Lemuria. And I'll discuss the old and the new Lemuria at the end of this very short video. But first, let's look at sea turtles. Sea turtles have been around since the time of the dinosaurs, and the dinosaurs were around from 231 million years ago to 66 million years ago when they went extinct, at least in the third dimension. They still exist in the fourth and fifth dimensions, as we know, because they're in our imagination in all our movies and books and kids' stories. The sea turtles, of which there are 7 species, have been around for 110 million years. And I want to talk about the wisdom of a species and a creature that can live for that long a time and survive and adapt here on planet Mother Earth. Whereas humans only live for about 70 years in our short time span, we wonder how much wisdom there would be for sea turtles who have 110 million years worth of wisdom on Mother Earth. In fact, are considered to be Mother Earth in the native symbology. More of that in a moment. Whereas humans, as far as most anthropologists know, are only here for 2 or so million years. So we can see that the sea turtle species has at least 55 times more wisdom than humans in knowing how to adapt and live and survive here on planet Earth. What are the qualities of sea turtles? Well, we know just on a biological level that the mothers are the only ones that return to their ancient holes where they go to dig in the sand. And these are ocean-bearing turtles, of course. We're not speaking of the freshwater turtles here, although that could be interesting too. These sea turtles, and only the females, not the males or the juveniles, go back to their own place of birth. And the mothers dig in the sand on the seashore and deposit all their eggs and cover the eggs with sand, and there can be dozens of eggs. And then they leave and they go back up to 1,400 miles away for their feeding in their feeding grounds. The young ones, when they hatch from the eggs, can take up to a week just to dig out from under the sand, and then they immediately scurry off into the ocean. Now, the native symbolism, the First Nation symbolism worldwide about sea turtles is the fact that they are very peaceful, determined soul, spirit, if you like, and they engage in the essence of longevity. And they know how to adapt to any different circumstance on the planet. And the fact that they still do exist in all the oceans, the warm temperate oceans of the world, suggests that they can adapt to the increasing acidity and pollution of the oceans. What are some of the other characteristics of the sea turtle in terms of spiritual and psychological symbolism? Intuition is a big one. The fact of serendipity, chance meetings. They're very slow, self-pacing, and they are very moving forward, but at their own speed and determined to get where they need to go. They evolve out of the deep feminine Earth Mother symbolism. In fact, they are the symbol of Mother Earth. And so perhaps this is a time when we all can come back in this new millennium, which is the 3rd millennium post Jesus and the Christ consciousness, to focus on the motherliness of human nature and the motherliness of all nature on the earth. And so the feminine is rising in the psyche and the collective consciousness of all beings on the planet, men, women, children of all religions, backgrounds, and cultures and orientations. And this probably will be our saving grace, allowing us to adapt enough to be able to survive here for the next 777 generations as a human species. And listen to all our relations and start to co-adapt and co-create with all our relations. Other aspects of the turtle mother would be staying grounded in times of chaos and desperation and difficulty. And it's seemingly now in 2014 and probably in years to come soon there will be a lot of chaos on the earth, not just environmental, ecological, meteorological with the weather changes, but social, cultural, political, geopolitical, and the fight for the diminishing non renewable resources on the earth. So, a little notion here that we need very soon to focus on all the renewable resources, mainly light and the sun. In this time of great disturbance, the sea turtle wisdom will show us how to keep peaceful, stay grounded, stay calm, stay determined, stay persistent, but mostly it's trust in the divine will to find again as human beings our wisdom of our divine human soul. And this seems to be what's missing on 99% of the 7 billion population of the human species right now, is the lack of knowing of the wisdom of your own individual soul and our collective wisdom of our divine human species soul. Why we have been here on planet Earth for all these millions of years, and what it is as our path and our goal and our dharma, if you like, our direction in order to stay here in the third dimension. The wisdom, therefore, of the sea turtle is something you might choose to meditate with, and many of you have been to Hawaii and other places in the Pacific where these turtles come up on the beaches. I know many of my friends have. I personally have not been there physically. However, it seems that they come up and show themselves to us as a way of engendering some inspiration to find our own soul wisdom. The depth of these beings, when you meditate with them, is quite astonishing, in fact. Because they live mostly in the water, although they can come up on shore, they are watery beings and therefore very good at being with their feelings and moving through emotional challenges. And this is something that may be important for most humans right now, fraught with so many different kinds of feelings and emotions, angers and rage, shame and guilt, sadness and lots of grieving, and also fears and dread about the future for our planet and for our own personal and family and local and national well-being. So it does behoove us to get in touch with sea turtle wisdom at this time and all times. Now, apart from all of this, human nature, what is the etymology of the word human? Well, it comes from many different sources, Old Dutch, German, and all the way back, in fact, to Latin and also to Sanskrit. Some of the etymologies of the word human is humane, meaning gentle, kind, civil or civilized, respectful, and also philanthropic and giving back. Another word that comes as a derivation of the word human is homunculus, which is a medieval term suggesting that within every human being there's an homunculus or a soul that's hidden. And it's a little being right inside our inner heart, mind, and needs to be brought out so that our true soul wisdom can actually flourish and come to full form. For most of us, that we don't even know we have a soul, and we perhaps haven't even engaged the wisdom consciously of our soul and taken us to a higher super consciousness. What can we say about the old Lemuria and the new Lemuria? We know that in the evolution of all humanity on this planet, it is not the earliest stage, the old Lemuria. It's certainly a stage before this post-Atlantean fifth epoch we're in now, and also before Atlantis. It does go back millions of years, in fact, far more than anthropologists realize, perhaps 4 or 5 million years. And it was a great civilization. It was the most peaceful civilization the earth has ever known to date. And it existed in the Pacific Ocean today and the Indian Ocean for millions of years. And we know some about the last 100,000 years. We have a little more information. All of this can be gleaned from the Akashic records, by the way. However, in 50,000 years ago, there was a cataclysm, and it was nuclear, a blast, that blew the top off the mountain, the main mountain, or Mu, M-U, where the civilization was existing. And then again, about 12,000 years ago, a final nuclear blast blew off the whole mountain and it submerged within the Indian Ocean and also within the Pacific Ocean. It was quite an extensive geographical territory. Although all those millions of people, and it's said that 100 million or more did die. They don't exist, obviously, in the third dimension, although all these beings still exist in the fourth and fifth dimensions. We also know that on the west coast of North America and Central and South America, this was part of the Lemurian territory in that many of them moved here across the waters and inhabited Vancouver Island, the BC coast, California coast, Washington, Oregon, and all the way down the Baja and down through Argentina, Chile, and all the way down to Tierra del Fuego. So the new Lemuria is a consciousness that's coming to the planet. And it can be for anybody in any culture, religion, or age or orientation anywhere on any of the continents. However, it seems to be the case that a lot of people are physically drawn to move and travel to these areas I've just mentioned on the west coast of North, Central, and South America. If that's the case, you may be inspired while you're listening to this video to come to these territories and be part of the new Lemuria. If you're not able to physically journey here and become an immigrant to any of these countries, that would be Canada, America, and all the South American West Coast nations, then you can do this in your heart and in your consciousness. And remember, one of the great skills of the sea turtle, and for having existed and lived here and survived for 110 million years, is the fact that they're able to journey and travel, but mostly importantly, to adapt to change and to chaos and to confusion, and to stalwartly, steadfastly, with great persistence and at their own pace, move towards the goals and the dreams and the hopes that they know they can achieve now in this life. What is the new Lemuria? And we're going to end with this now. The new Lemuria not only is a physical place, and it may be communities that you're involved in co-creating, but it's a super consciousness of the highest Christ, Krishna, blissful consciousness that involves peace, righteousness, self-empowerment, self-responsibility, unification through complete sisterhood, brotherhood of all peoples, of all backgrounds and cultures and religions and orientations and colors, so that we can co-create a new peaceful Mother Earth here with all our relations on planet Earth. Mitakuyo Yasin, I wish you all peace and joy and tranquility as you move forward at your own pace, and you will achieve, as we all will as one, a new Lemuria of the heart, a new consciousness of great sisterhood and brotherhood here on Mother Planet Earth. Om Namah Shivaya. All love and blessings to you.